What's happening, team? Um, all right, good. I like this new lens. Uh, that's sharp. Cool. Hey, team. Coming to you live this Friday morning. I big day for me today, new day for me today, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it. Several of these videos that I've been doing, I've just been recording on my own. Um, And because I don't really know a lot of you on YouTube, it doesn't feel as I don't know if intimidating is the right word, but I feel like I can be more open and honest um, than I can on like Facebook or Instagram. So I'm going to start going live more often on the YouTube. Um, and oh, I'm sorry, it's not Facebook anymore. It's Meta. Apparently, that's a thing now. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to explore this. So, thanks for being here. And yeah, today's caption, it's not difficult, it's new. This was a lesson that my high school math teacher and soccer coach taught us. And it was always fascinating every time he brought it up because he taught, algebra 2. I don't think no, he didn't teach trigonometry, but anytime that we had a new letter thrown in or a new variable or this, that, the other, I remember very little from algebra 2 at this point. But, it was always one of those like, okay, but why are you struggling so much with it? Why? Like ask yourself, why am I struggling so much with this? Well, I've never used a variable with a letter in it as I'm, solving this equation. So it's not difficult, it's just new. And don't get me wrong, like some math stuff is way difficult. And it doesn't mean that it's just going to be easy, but it's new. I've got my guitar sitting right there. I am not very good at it. You know why? Because I don't practice it enough. And it's just difficult. It's new. Okay, but if I practiced it more, if I actually went ahead and got better at it and actually put in the time, put in the effort, put in the hours required, that I'd probably be pretty good. And so that's where I first want to talk about, like with managing expectations. We live in a society where we want results instantly, and it just doesn't happen like that. That's not how life works. Like I'm a nutrition, fitness, wellness, whatever you want to call me, coach. And all the time it's like, well, why haven't I lost any weight? Well, how long have you been putting the weight on? Or how long have you actually been following the protocol? How long have you actually been allowing for change to occur? I can't get mad that I'm not a better guitar player when I don't practice the guitar. That's not how that works. But we see things like, ooh, Amazon Prime, 2-day free shipping. And that's how we expect our results. And then we post some crap on the internet and it's like, why aren't more people following? Why aren't more people liking what? Like we want that instant validation, that gratification, that I matter from external sources, whether we like ourselves or not. It doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, but do they like me? But do I get results from them? Does that give me a sense of worth? And that's where the second topic of having healthier self-care, self-talk, self-conversations. I don't remember what the thing I put in here was. I don't know how to do this. So, but having healthier conversations with yourselves while we manage our expectations based on, how much effort we're putting into things. Like if I'm just butchering myself every time that I try to play the guitar, am I really going to want to play the guitar more? No, because if you went to a teacher or to a friend and they're just like, you suck, you're probably not going to keep going to them and playing the guitar, no matter how great they are. And maybe you will. I don't know. That's not really my thing. But it's something that I think we should be more mindful of. We should be more considerate of how we talk to ourselves, because Hopefully, you're not in a situation where people do talk that way to you. And if you are, I'm really sorry. I've been in those situations and they're not fun. And you don't deserve that. So we either find a way to get out of those situations or we learn how to set healthier boundaries. And that's something, especially right now, that's very difficult for me is setting boundaries. Um, Sorry, Gravy is, what are you doing? He's being a cat. So that's kind of scary. Um, but, even for myself, where I have been um, trying to do a better job of just allowing myself to be, it's really difficult. I'm way too ambitious in a lot of different areas, which spreads me very thin, which doesn't always allow me to stay focused and stay on topic or on track. And, I can guilt myself, I can shame myself, I can do all the mean, nasty things that the demons in the back of my head want me to do. Or like yesterday, I can play video games and just be like, you know what? Maybe I just need this. Maybe this is what I need today and be okay with that. Um, Now, Wednesday, when we first went live, I was supposed to do like 4 hours of filming, didn't do any of it. I did a couple videos prior to Kendrick coming over, or for those that watched the video, God. Um, but before he came over, I did a couple of videos and then we just talked. And I think that was the exact thing we needed to do. Were there good consequences out of it? Sure. Were there bad ones? Sure. But how it happened, what happened, that's what we needed. That's what I especially needed. Um, talking about my journey, talking some of the things that I've learned, talking about ways in which to help other people, it means a lot to me. It's very important to me. And so I was really nervous. And being able to have a little bit more time because there's no deadline. That's both a good thing and a bad thing. Because if there's no deadline, there can be no urgency. Well, or if I allow it, there may not be urgency. Um, Take a sip. Dang, that was cool. Harry Potter. Yeah, but um, yeah, and I can be upset about it. I can be upset that we didn't get things done, or I can just chalk it up to, you know what, it's okay. It's all right. Could have been worse. I could have been really upset with the quality of the content that we did film. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're just going to have to film this again. And rather than doing it right the one time, what is it? Measure twice, cut once. I think that's a very common carpentry saying. And rather than just throw stuff against the wall, which I've been known to do, to see what sticks, it's like, okay, but this is a little bit deeper. This is going to be a little bit more um, categorized and be more of a curriculum so that people can actually get better. And, I want to help people get better. Um, and what we had, what were my topics on this? Managing expectations. Oh, exciting news on my end. Managing expectations is difficult. It's not difficult. It's new. Self love. Hmm. Wonder if I can go to YouTube and see what that says. What did I say? This is also new to me. Self-talk and a growth mindset. There it is. There it is. We were gonna get there. Um, so yeah, like and with a growth mindset. So it actually ties in perfectly with talking about ambition. I did an assessment this morning through Precision Nutrition. Wonderful, a wonderful coaching program that I did. I got my nutrition certification through them. I'm going to be getting several more certifications through them, which is wonderful. Um, but I filled out this assessment about, whether or not I had a growth mindset, and I definitely do, um, or cognitive flexibility, which I love that because it ties right in with what I was saying about um, the mindset mobility that we'll dive into further throughout the mental health masterclass and throughout more content that I'd be happy to, um, and throughout more content that I put on here. But yes, was just asked, can you describe the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset? And so, um, if you will, a fixed mindset is going to be one that is unopen to other perspectives, unopen to new ways of doing things. Um, they're very routine based, or they can be. And it's more of a generic answer than it is a here's verbatim what the answer is. Um, but for those that have a fixed mindset, there are a lot of expectations as to how things are supposed to go, which I'm sure we all would love that, but that's not always the case. Um, and sometimes with a fixed mindset, you know, I I think some people have a fixed mindset in certain areas, like I know that I do, but then in other areas they stay with a fixed mindset even though that other area requires them to grow. Um, for instance, just do an easy one like relationships. We have expectations. We have like this is how it's going to be, whether it's personal, professional, romantic, whatever kind of relationship it is. It's like, no, this is how it is because this is how it's always been. But then when something new comes in, it's like, okay, but I don't like that. I'm uncomfortable. That this is no, this is bad. Like warning flags, because everything that you've experienced so far in your life has led you to this point. And to grow is to challenge your own identity. That's a quote I that I actually said to myself a couple weeks ago, and it was really profound. To grow is to challenge your own identity because you have survived every single thing that life has thrown at you your whole life. You're 60, you're 20, you're 33, and have survived two deployments. You have survived everything that life has thrown at you. Keep surviving. Proud of you. But that's also very difficult when challenged with a new opportunity or confronted, I should say, confronted with a new opportunity or a new outlook on life. Um, it becomes that much more difficult to, or it can become that much more difficult to change. Try and learn a new language. Go ahead, try and learn a new language. The older you are, I would argue, in certain skill developments, it is harder to learn something new. Like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You definitely can. You just have to manage those expectations. You got to be more kind to yourself on it. No one in my family plays the guitar. I learned how to play the guitar. I'm not great at it, but I did it. I learned it, and there are still levels to it. Um, I, I mean, I took French in high school. Parlez-vous français? Juste un peu. That's about all I got. Je m'appelle Tyler. Like that is the extent of my French now. That's it. I got nothing else. And then I tried learning Spanish, and it was really, really difficult. Um, and they say immersion is the best way to learn, and yeah, in some cases it is, but that's also really scary. And when you finally are in a healthy relationship, but you're not used to healthy relationships, that can be uncomfortable. That can be scary. And that can also cause people to just run the second things get real because they're not used to it. They have to challenge their own identity. They have to go and say, "Oh my gosh, wait, no, this this can't be real because that's not what I'm used to. That's not how to do this." Like if you have a recipe for banana bread and you've been making banana bread the same way your whole life, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in and is like, "Why don't you do this?" Because I've always done it this way. This is how to do it. Um, my mom and I have talked about banana bread, and she, "Hey, did you do my recipe?" Nope, I did mine. I like mine. I'm used to mine. I'm comfortable with mine, and I want to use mine. Now, that doesn't mean that hers isn't amazing, that it's not wonderful, that it's not delicious. I just have my patterns, I have my routines, and I have my fixed mindset around, yeah, but I like this. But this is the one that I like to make. And so, with a growth mindset, having a little bit more openness to others' perspectives, others' ideas, others' options. Just because someone comes to you with something new doesn't mean that you're wrong. And I know for myself that that's something I have really struggled um, with having just a defeatist mindset almost, where, oh, someone gave me maybe not the healthiest form of criticism, but also like they expressed, "Hey, I didn't like this," or, "Could we not do that?" Or, "I just felt like you did that." And immediately, from what I have experienced and how I grew up, it was a, "Well, I didn't mean to. I didn't. That's not what I meant." I get immediately defensive rather than accepting what the other person is sharing with me as something of theirs. Like they are giving me a gift and I am denying that gift by getting immediately defensive. Um, Now, that doesn't mean that you just let people walk over you, but it is something like, "Hey, that hurt my feelings." And okay, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation about it. Are were your feelings hurt because I didn't, this, or did I hurt your feelings because I said this? Um, and definitely, be able to take ownership. Um, I have found that a lot of times people will not, they can always point the finger, but it's harder to point it this way. And there have been times for me personally where um, a situation happened. I expressed my dislike for the situation. I was able to say, "Hey, yeah, probably I could have reacted differently." And the other person was not able to do the same. Does that make them more right than me? Does that make me wrong? Does that make the way they handled the situation better than the way I did? I mean, who to say, like, they say there are three sides to every story. Your side, their side, and then the truth. And how we see situations and how we react to, and how we fixate on it. And that's where the fixed versus growth mindset can really come into play, is like, okay, I can either dig my heels in and know that I'm right and I have to be right. You're just gonna, nope, I will not move. Or it's like, hey, this is my perspective. This is how I see the situation. You have some very valid points. I agree with this, and this. However, I disagree with this, and this. You know, why don't we find a way to satisfy both people's needs? In the book Nonviolent Communication, which was highly recommend, I I loved what they said about compromises don't work, because that means that somebody has to lose something in order for there to be satisfaction. Whereas if you satisfy each other's needs, then it's okay, what is it going to take for you to be satisfied from this? What is it going to take for me to be satisfied from this? And then we find somewhere in the middle of that, without either of us compromising. Um, Easier said than done. Again, managing expectations, having, good self-talk, self-kindness, self-compassion. Um, but the big reason why I went live today is because I am really scared. Um, I'm looking at houses today and have some really wonderful options on deck and some really cool opportunities, but it is bittersweet. Um, the last, mm, I don't know, 14, 15 months has been new and difficult it's definitely been difficult. But it's been very new. Especially 2021 has been very new in a lot of different ways. And while I thought that this year was going to look a lot different, I had expectations. And sometimes we need to manage those expectations. We need to be able to have more of that mindset mobility. Um, you know, I'm not going to turn this into a diary or a journal or where I expose all of my things. So if that's what you're here for, it's not going to happen. Um, but I do want to be able to talk about how I am navigating and coping is a strong word, but navigating, managing, um, making my way through the situations that have presented themselves to me and being able to best move forward for me, and gravy because we're package deal. Um, but I'm hopeful that there will be, what is this? Why is there water in there? I'm hopeful that there will be some grace that I can provide myself as I look at buying a house today. Um, I was not planning on buying a house this year alone, and now I am. I was not planning on moving potentially twice in a calendar year. Now I might be. And it's just different. It's really new. And now, as excited as I am about the potential of moving out of this apartment complex and having a house and going into the next stage of life, it's also like, yeah, but like, need to buy it right away. I know you're going to love it, but also like reel it in just a little bit. Because I saw some other homes yesterday and I was like, yo, that's nice. That's really nice. Oh, man. Uh, but, um, we'll see what happens. And I'm just trying to enjoy more of the journey because if you had told me what would be happening right now and I could fast forward to this moment without any of the things that happened or, you know, wipe away the last 5 years, 3 years, it doesn't matter. But I wouldn't I wouldn't want to lose all of the growth that came with it. And that's really hard to say because there are so many things that I wish had never happened. I wish that I didn't have some of the memories that I do. And yet I know that those situations, the feelings, the memories, the thoughts, the circumstances, um, happened for me, not to me. And I'm excited to see where that all can go from here. Um, because as I'm building out the mental health masterclass, like people need an outlet, people need a resource, people need someone in their corner, whether it's accountability, whether it's support, whether it's guidance. Um, and so I'm really excited to keep plugging away on that, to keep my purpose alive. Um, and I don't know what that looks like. 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I wouldn't, I couldn't. There's no way I would have guessed that I would be doing what I'm doing now 3.5 years ago. 3.5 years ago, I was just starting my personal training business. And now I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. And that's part of the growth mindset. Um, Embracing change because change is inevitable. And you can, uh, you can fight it all you want. It's going to happen. And that would be so to answer that question, that, fighting change. And don't get me wrong, we don't always like change. I definitely have not liked change 90% of this year. I have not liked the change. But, I got gravy now. I have a tattoo. Buckingham Fitness is helping more clients than ever. Um, might be buying a house. I'm more kind to myself. I'm giving myself grace and allowing for new opportunities to come into my house rather than just getting everything out and everything away, which is brave. That's very brave. Given what I have experienced and the circumstances that I was put in, it's very brave to not just shut everybody out. And so, a good friend said, one day, everything that you went through will be a page in somebody else's survival book. And I really took that to heart. So let's help some people. Let's make sure people know that they're not alone. All right, team. I'm out in an hour, hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to be looking at the first place. It's real nice. It's so nice. Ah! We'll see. We'll see. But all right, I'm out. Hope you all have a great day. Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to go live, but I'm going to go live frequently. So jump in, check the replay, subscribe or don't, whatever. But I'm out.